All right, so we're going to continue working on combining like terms and distribution today. So let's go ahead and move to this slide, and I want you to combine like terms. Figure out who actually gets to go first when you write them in order. So combine like terms. I'll catch up with you. All right, let's take a look at this first one. So if I take a look at this, I see I have a 4xy and a positive 2xy. If I add those, that's a positive 6xy. Now, why am I writing the x first? Because that x is going to drop. But why did it get to go first? Well, the reason it gets to go first is because there's no y value. Okay, so all the x's who are alone get to go first before there's anything with a y. All right, if I look at the next one, I see that I have 6m squared and a negative 9m squared, which is a negative 3m squared. The positive 6m is going to drop. Remember, when we write these in standard form, the biggest power is going to go first. So since it's a power of 2 and this is power of 1, this one gets to go first. All right, so I've got a 3n and a 2n. If I add, that's a 5n. The minus 6m n is next. Now, is this one in the right order? You might be thinking, well, yeah, because the n is by itself. Well, but this has an m. And doesn't m come before n? So in actuality, this one should look like this. Okay, because the m, n should come before the standalone n. Okay, so go ahead and do some distribution here. And let's see what you get. All right, negative 3 times 2, negative 6q. Negative 3 times negative 7 is a positive 21. That one is finished. Negative 7 times 9 is 63. And negative 7 times 2 is a negative 14m. That one is not done. This one is in the wrong order. So this is actually negative 14m plus 63. That is a positive 63, okay? So we need to flip that one and write it in order. Now, all of a sudden, we're coming up with multiple variables, okay? And that's okay. So remember, there's a 1 here. So 1 times negative 2 is 2. So if I multiply here, that's a negative 2x. The second multiplication is a 1 xy. The letters are just going to hold on to each other. All right, now, remember there's a 1 here and a 1 here. So this would be 5x plus 5y, and that one is done. Now, this one's a little trickier because all of a sudden I see there's 2 x's there. So if I multiply this first one, I get negative 10x squared because I have 2 x's. That's where that power of 2 comes from. If I multiply again, I have a positive 2xy. All right, now, what's different on this one? Well, if you're thinking, hey, there's a negative 1 right there, you're right. So instead of distributing the 3 is actually going to drop, okay? I'm distributing the negative 1. So 3 minus 2x minus 5. And then looking at like terms, I see these two should go together. So my negative 2x is going to drop. 3 plus a negative 5 is a minus 2, and that one is finished. That one is finished. Okay, take a minute and see what you can do with these. Okay, let's see how you did. So negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. And there's my 6w. I'm not done. These guys are like terms. So negative 14 plus negative 6, that's a negative 20. Drop my negative 28. Negative 20w plus, or negative 20w minus 28. That is done. Negative 3 times 5, negative 15y. Negative 3 times 4 is minus 12, plus 8. Those are my like terms. So negative 15y minus 4. All right, now this next one, I have to remember there's a negative 1 right there. So the first distribution is pretty easy. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 4 times negative 4, positive 16. And negative 1 times 2 is a negative 2x. And a negative 1 times 6 is a negative 6. Okay, like terms. Negative 12 plus negative 2 is a negative 14. Positive 16 plus negative 6 is a positive 10. And I am finished. Okay, 2 more and then we'll call it good for the day, and then you can continue to work on your homework. So go ahead and hit pause and see what you can do with these 2. Okay, so hopefully when you distributed, you got negative 6x plus 15 plus 6x minus 2. Now, if I put these together, that's a 0x. Okay, I don't write 0x, so that's just gone. 15 plus negative 2, that's 13. So this answer is just 13. Okay, 5x minus 8, positive 12x, negative 18. Put my x's together, 17x. Put my numbers together, negative 26. So 17x minus 26. All right, so let's see what you can do today on your homework. You've got a quiz coming up here in a couple of days with combining like terms. So if you've got any questions or you're not getting these right, please reach out to us and get some help.